Welcome to BasketballHeadzz Live. I'm your host, Glenn Pooh Harding, and tonight's guest is Coach Peter Martin. That's right, Sports Zone Director Peter Martin. He has been a pillar in our community for over 35 years. This broadcast is sponsored by Styles by Nita and Unique Creations. Let's get it.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped into the world of chaos, where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online, buy your tickets, cause the game about to start.
I'm ecstatic. I couldn't sleep all day long, man. I couldn't even take my nap. You see I'm repping my boy right here, right? You see I'm repping my boy right here.
Man. That's right. Look at that all day. Bro.
That's right.
That's it, man. That's what you're supposed to do. And that's what we're here doing tonight.
Yes,
we
sir.
represent the Brooklyn legend. You know, I know you've been doing it in our community for a long time, brother. And when I put up the post of the first pitch I put you with Pearl, you got a lot of love in the community, man.
Let me tell you something. You already know what Pearl meant to sports in New York City, period. Hands down.
Right.
One of the best that ever did it in New York City.
Look, I was talking to Kenny Anderson. He was on here, and we was talking about being someone who shifted culture, right? Like Pearl shifted the culture early. And then Kenny came along and kind of did the same thing.
Yes.
But he told me he was looking up to Pearl the whole time.
Let me tell you something. Everybody to this day, if you watch college basketball and you see Dick Vitale, any guard that is playing college basketball, they compare to Pearl Washington. You know, or he talks about Pearl Washington. So, I mean, I went to his funeral. One of the best funerals I've ever went to in my whole life. The accolades that he received, man. I'm telling you. It just brought tears to my eyes, bro. That was my dude.
So man, let's get into your life, because we want to say rest in peace to Pearl and make sure his legacy live on forever. And this is why you're here tonight, brother.
Yes, sir. Well, my life. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Before we even get to that, let me just ask. My first question I always ask every guest is, who introduced you to the game?
My brother Phil. My brother Phil Martin. He taught me. I mean, he carried me around like a puppy, man. Everywhere he went, I wanted to be. My brother Phil. He lives in Maryland right now. College player. Went to Hampton University, played with Rick Mahorn.
Nice. Legendary.
At Hampton. When it was Hampton Institute. It wasn't even Hampton University. It was Hampton Institute.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And just dragging me along like a little puppy, man. So my brother Phil, had to give him, who introduced me to the game of basketball. Yes, sir.
Did you play as well?
Yes, I did. I played, high school ball at Millwood High School. I played 1 year college ball at Baruch College in Manhattan, in the city. Some of the best times of my life, man. That CUNY basketball was something else, man.
What year did you go to Midwood?
I went to Midwood I graduated in 79, from 77 to 79.
So you was around that whole time with Jerry Ice Reynolds and Beetle Washington?
I was before Jerry Ice Reynolds. Jerry Ice Reynolds was a freshman. But the teams that beat us in the championship that took it all away, which I was going to tell you, was Alexander Hamilton. They had Cosell in them. Yeah, Cosell and Beetle was their backcourt. Yeah. K. Maxim. They had an awesome front line, man. Ray Haskins was the coach. Coach Haskins was the coach. I mean, they were stars. Yeah. They were stars. Jerry Ice Reynolds was at the end of the bench during that time. He was a freshman.
Now, if you look, right? That's Coach Haskins right there.
That's my godfather, bro. I love that dude, man. Coach Haskins, man. I pick his brain every time I see him. I actually, I saw your last show with Coach Haskins was on your show, and I was chiming in. I was chiming in a lot. And Coach Haskins is the best. He's the godfather.
Yes, and I don't think he gets the respect that's due to him. You know, for a guy who went 179-14, carried 24 kids on his roster, and then 12 of them go Division I. No one has ever done that in the city of New York.
Well, if you know,
I don't think anywhere in the country at one time.
If you know anything about the history of basketball in Brooklyn, period, if you don't give Coach Haskins his respect, you're not a basketball guru. Simple as that.
That's
you
right.
know nothing about the game if you don't give Coach Haskins his respect, and that's just what it is. Yeah. So
who was on your team during those Midwood days? Were you guys any good?
Oh, we was decent. I mean, we every year we went to the semifinal, but like I said, we lost to great teams. We lost to Coach Haskins' team, who won the whole thing, and then one year we lost to Boys and Girls, who won the whole thing, coached by Coach Mickens. They had Richie Gordon in them. Richie Gordon wound up going to Columbia University. They were loaded. You know, back then, I mean, it was tough. You know, I mean, we was playing against guys like it was Stephon Marbury's brother, Eric Marbury.
Yes.
Eric Marbury, jump out the gym. You know, I mean, you talk about Steph, but Eric Marbury was the real deal, bro.
Yeah.
So they had some ballers back then, man. That all those guys went Division I, major Division I.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we held our own, but I mean, it was a small school, but I mean, we just pressed you half to death. You know, that was a small thing. We picked you up from the time you take the ball out all the way to the end. We had that full court press. You know, and if you wasn't a smart team, you was losing to us. Simple as that. You know, but it was all good though. It was a great time in my life, man, that I would cherish forever.
So, who was the top player in your neighborhood at the time?
In my neighborhood at the time,
right when you was coming up.
It was so many, man. It was so many. The top player in my neighborhood when I was coming up as a kid.
There's always one top dog.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna give it to my mentor. His name was Joe Washington.
Okay.
Joe Washington, and if you can, any of them guys who listening now, old school dudes, Joe Washington was the truth. You can ask Fly Williams, all those guys jocking him. You know, they'll say Fly, but when I ask Fly who was the best, and I tell him Joe Washington, he would say, "Yo, Joe was the man." My man Joe Washington was my best player of my all time as a kid growing up, who I idoled.
Okay.
Joe Washington.
Okay.
Wound up going to Coppin State, broke his leg. Pearl's brother actually broke his leg playing ball, bridged him going to the basket, knowing he can't block Joe's shot. And Joe went to dunk and he broke his leg. Joe fell down, broke his leg, and still went Division I with one leg going to Coppin State and was All-American at Coppin State.
So that was Pearl's older brother?
No, Pearl's oldest brother his name is Beaver. Beaver used to play ball. Okay. He was playing against Joe in his junior high school in Brooklyn. And Joe was All-American in high school and stuff. He went to Tilden with Jock, Greg Jocko Jackson.
Nice.
Right? That group, right. With World Be Free, all those guys, they were awesome back then, man.
World Be Free went to Tilden?
No, World Be Free went to Canarsie.
He went to Canarsie, yeah. I thought he did.
Yeah, led Canarsie, to the city championship. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Canarsie they were loaded, man.
I saw him in the pros. You get to see the kind of the finishing touches to who these guys really become. But how was he in high school?
Oh, let me tell you something. He was world. I mean, I don't remember him in high school. I remember him, from Guilford when he went to Guilford and he went to the pros. But from my partner Darryl Glenn, who runs the Brownsville Recreation Center, he was under Jock. I mean, those guys, that whole group was just awesome. Brownsville had more players coming out of the pro going to the pros than any other neighborhood. Brownsville had from World, Fly, Jerry Ice Reynolds, boxing they had Tyson, football Otis Wilson, Super Bowl champion, Riddick Bowe, Shannon Briggs, all that in a 5-block radius, unheard of. Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, but the players, I mean, with Jock and them, that whole group, man, was just, even Coach Haskins will tell you, they terrorized every tournament throughout the country.
Now, how does a guy like World Be Free, who undisputedly was the man in New York City during his time, wind up going to Guilford College?
Jocko Jackson brought him there. School slept on him. But, back then, if you were good, you were going pro. If you put in work, they were going to find you. And he put in work at Guilford, you know. And you have to remember too, Jeff Houston came out of Brownsville. Right there in the class. Jeff Houston led the league in assists one year. He had a record, I think, like 22 assists in one game. Right there. All that whole group. They all lived together and they all played summer ball together. It was like 25 of them, solid. During that era, man. And, you know, the regular Joes like me, I was just a regular Joe just watching guys like that, man, and playing, man. It was so talented, man. So talented.
So you had a bird's eye view of some of the greatest basketball players in New York City history that burned the fire in you to further your career, not only as a player, but really as a coach. Correct?
Yes. Yes, sir.
When did you know you wanted to become a coach?
I started playing ball and I started being a player coach at the same time. I played in tournaments. And in the tournaments, I was a player coach. You know, I ran my own team and played at the same time. And I just got that coaching bug. Then I started coaching kids. You know, I started coaching in summer youth teams. And I remember one tournament we played in East New York in Alabama Park. Hardcore. It's like they call it the Cage, I think it's now, still to this day. And we was playing against Ed Dandova, Bug Eye. Right?
Yes,
He was a kid.
Definitely.
He was a kid.
Played against him my freshman year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He was a kid at the time, and I had just a crew from Brownsville, young pups. And man, this guy, we call him Sheik. His name is Gary Johnson, and he was checking Ed, and Sheik broke his arm in the game. He didn't even know his arm was broke. Played with one arm and still bust his ass. And I'm not playing with one arm.
Wow.
Broke his arm. At the end of the game, we took him to the hospital. He had a broken arm. Played a half with a broken, tough as nails, man. Those kids, let me tell you, some Brownsville kids, man, I'm telling you. Even now to this day, we're going to get into my kids later on. But those Brownsville kids, something about them, how they bred, man. They're running the walls, man. I don't know what they're eating, but they tough as hell, man. You know?
Yeah. Tom Kinchowski said that Brooklyn produces the toughest basketball players in New York City. And you know, the best and toughest basketball players in New York City.
I believe that. And that goes with anything about Brooklyn. Man, you know, Brooklyn go anywhere to play ball. You know, you got guys uptown, they don't want to come to Brooklyn. You know?
Yeah, listen, I'm so glad you said that. That's one of my biggest arguments with this podcast. When I be interviewing the guys from uptown, I let them all know.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all didn't come down to Brooklyn. We had to go to y'all. Queens dudes didn't come to Brooklyn. We had to go. And that's why I think that makes us so resilient, right? And tough-minded. Because we had to leave our neighborhood and go to other places and do damage to get our name up.
Exactly. And I played anywhere. It didn't matter. I went uptown, Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, you know, Staten Island. You know, I played everywhere. It didn't matter again, you know, because if you go anywhere else, they don't know how you played.
That's right.
So, you know, your stuff go work then. You know what I'm saying? So it was all good. So, but yeah, Brooklyn kids, they play anywhere. We take our kids now anywhere and forget it. They're amazing, man. They're amazing.
What was the first tournament you coached in?
First tournament I coached in? Probably in Alabama Park. Young days, Alabama Park in East New York, where I tell you. No, actually, the first one I played coach, it was in Foster Park.
Okay, all right.
God. Foster Park was gangster city, bro. We had to leave our stuff in the park and cut out. We won a championship that day one year, and we had to leave our trophies in the park and get the hell out of that damn park. Foster Park was no joke, yeah. I think Foster Park was the first one I actually coached and played and coached, me and my boys.
Okay.
Yeah, Foster Park was no joke, man. Yeah. Did you ever play in Foster Park?
Yes.
Yeah, Foster Park.
I played in every park.
Yeah, I heard that. That's what's up.
From Brooklyn to Queens to the gyms to Lost Battalion, you know, to St. Claver's, right? To BRT.
Yeah.
You know, that's my pedigree, man. I had to because I made Lincoln my freshman year, and I didn't want to get cut. I didn't want to lose that position. You know, I thought in the beginning I shouldn't have been on the team, but of course I wound up developing to, you know, a really good player. So I worked hard, and all the places that you were supposed to play, I went and played that.
And that was my problem. I didn't do that when I was in high school. My coach told me, he said, you know, when our last game during one of the seasons, he said, I don't want none of you guys going to play in any of those tournaments where you're going to get 50 points. You have to play in tournaments where guys are better than you. What did I do? I went to a tournament in Bed-Stuy where I can get 50 points. So a couple of my guys, they went and they played for Gil Reynolds that summer.
Another one of my coaches. Yes.
Two of my guys, Joe Esposito and Dwayne Myers. They went to Bernard Myers. They went to play for Gil that summer. They came back. Oh my God, like beasts. I came back, almost the same way because I went and played those weak tournaments, and I didn't get any better because I didn't go against the heavy competition. I was decent, but I should listen to my coach. I didn't listen to my coach, and I paid for it. But
yeah, listen. We back in those days, you didn't have a choice, and if you didn't do those things,
exactly,
that's the result of that. Yeah,
and that's what I tell my kids now. I teach them from my mistakes. Don't play in no weak tournaments where you're getting 50 points, 60 points. You got to play in tournaments where you're going to up your game and play against guys that are better than you. That's going to make you better. So
now, the one thing I have a problem with the tough. With the big tournaments in New York City, right? The Nike tournaments, right? Because you got the Gersh, Dykeman, the one in Queens, Lincoln Park, right? And you have the other part, the Bronx Watson. But whatever the case, they have our high school kids playing pro rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is great for developing their one-on-one game,
mm-hmm.
but it stagnates a lot of them once they go to college because 90% of all the colleges play zone.
Right.
Right? And even in the high school, when you go back to high school, because you see a lot of these players, they be dominating the averaging 30 and 40 in the summertime, and they averaging 12 and 15 in the high school game or 18, because of that factor is not there for a clear out or for that one-on-one.
Yeah.
I don't understand why the big money corporations do that. Like, I have a theory that they, out to destroy the game the same way the NBA did with EBC.
Well,
right?
Yes.
I just think it's when the influx of money comes in, that's when you see the talent kind of dissipate.
It's all commercial. Like I never liked that EBC business. That wasn't basketball. To all due respect to the N1 mixtape guys, that wasn't basketball. I got to give that respect because that was the way they was making their living, but that wasn't basketball.
Right.
But at the end, like I said, coming from Brooklyn, Brownsville, and playing in the BRC, you were getting checked, bro, from the time you take the ball out. You know what I'm saying? And that's why, a lot of guys, even, they came out, and I'm going to say this about Pearl, that when he was coming up, he was so good, he would play in other tournaments. They wasn't checking him the way that when he came back home at Brownsville, how they checked him. They didn't care anything about him when he came home. They were checking him from the time he take the ball out.
Right.
So other guys would back up off him. He going to play on their back because they were scared to get shook. But when he came home, they made him work. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these kids go to these tournaments, they got a little name, but the guy's not checking them. You know what I'm saying? So, the games that we teach now in our league, and I want to go back to in one of your podcasts where you was talking about free tournaments and stuff like that. We have free tournaments in Brownsville. My partner and I, Dwayne Kennan, we sponsor free tournaments for our kids, full uniforms. We have pro-am officials. Remember I was telling you when you and Rob were talking, and we don't charge our kids a dime. And we got kids coming from all over, and we have classes taught by Nike. What the hell is that? The Nike, one of the Nike companies that we have. I'm run by my girl Sally, the Peace Players. She teaches a class.
Oh, okay.
The Nike Peace Players, they teach the class regarding refereeing for our guys. We have so many different programs. We don't charge a dime.
Where is this located? Where is it located?
Van Dyke Housing Development in Brooklyn and Brownsville on what's that? Thomas Boylan. Thomas Boylan. No, Mother Gatson. Mother Gatson. Right.
Send me that information, and I'll definitely promote that for you.
We're just waiting for this pandemic to end, and let me tell you something. We ready to rock and roll, man. We're going to help out a lot of different programs. We're going to help out Gersh, and see if they're going to get a little something together. We're going to help fund them and get some tickets, because a lot of people don't have the funds. So we got some funds that we're going to help a lot of different tournaments out, and have a one big group for all of us at the end of the summer. Hopefully, the mayor will say, okay, guys, you guys could run some stuff. But we want to help out a lot of different organizations that don't have the funds and the kids don't have the money to play. That's what we do. Brownsville Sports Zone. That's what we are.
Definitely. So I want to definitely get that, man. If we can, even you do like a 30-second piece, just to promote that out there, because that's a great idea. And I think it'll help a lot of kids in the community.
Oh, yes. Like I said, this is our 4th year doing it. We've been doing this for the last 4 years. And like I said, we partner up. And this is one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, partnership. A lot of these organizations, a lot of these leagues don't like to partner. And that's the problem. What's making us so successful, we partner with so many different groups where we're able to bring everybody's business together. And that's what makes us so successful. And if a lot of those other tournaments partnered, they wouldn't have to charge as much as they do for these tournaments for these kids.
Right.
It's they're so selfish. A lot of these leagues are so selfish, man. And they're trying to make all this money off of kids.
Yeah.
And if you part it up, people, there's so many avenues that you can get things, and the kids don't even have to pay, and you still can put out the same product. So these guys need to stop doing that, man, and partner up with each other, man.
Yeah, a lot of time when we was coming up, the majority of our coaches were white men, and it's not to knock them, because a lot of them did great jobs with us, right? But now we're in the seat, right? You got a lot of us who, most of the majority of the high school coaches are former players,
right?
Who are black, men and women, and I see the separatism there, because everybody's competing to be number one, but the quality of basketball in New York City is going down. And I hate to keep spotlighting South Shore, but they're the big dogs right now. And South Shore, 3 years of winning the city championship, I don't know if they produced a Division I qualifying player in those 3 years.
And that's sad.
Maybe they have.
I mean, one's going to Syracuse in September.
Right.
Yeah, one's going to Syracuse in September.
Did he go to prep school?
I think he's going to be in prep school, but he signed with Syracuse. So I think he has to do 1 year in prep school.
Right. I did 1 year in prep school my senior year. So I'm not knocking people who go to prep school. But what I'm saying is, with all of the advancement that we've made, right? And a lot of us who went through the stuff back in the days, we should be making it a lot easier for our kids now. So guys like Rob and Will Jackson, who's at Banneker, who keep their kids at a high level academically, right? And Rob has sent every last one of his players to college except one. Now, he's not at a AA school. How is he able to send all of his kids except one? And I know the one kid because I used to coach him. And that was that kid's choice.
I'm going to tell you what.
So this is what I'm saying. With all the power, all the big company that's involved, all the championships that's being won, we're not producing the players like we used to. And guys like yourself, I know, because we're going to get to it, to all the kids who you helped get to college and all the kids that you coach, because Rob is one of your kids.
Yes, he is. And that's my guy to the end. One thing about my partner, Dwayne Cannon, he doesn't stress winning. He stressed teaching. He tells all the coaches. Sorry, he tells all the coaches that coach in our league about stressing togetherness and stressing just being good guys, and just it's crazy how when these guys, like I said, when these kids coach, they're yelling, screaming, or whatever like that. But we want discipline in our league, and our guys, hands down to our guys. We coached the first middle school tournament that was on that side of town. BRC was the only act in town for a long time, and now that we're there, and nobody wanted help these kids out. We've been helping them. We haven't had one incident with these kids. And we have the different projects, Brownsville, Tilden, Van Dyke. Those kids can't play with each other because with the gangs. But coming into that Van Dyke gym, man, those kids were gentlemen. And we really stress that with our kids, man, and helping them out, and helping them learn to be young men. And they just need somebody to really, believe in them. And that's what we try to do over there, man. And Rob, I had Rob since he was a puppy in middle school. And Rob just hung around me. We did everything, came to my house and just hung around me, and he was just a good young man, and all his friends, man. But it's about, you can't just, it's not all about winning all the time. It's about teaching, man. It's not all about, and that's what's wrong with these coaches. They just want to win by any means necessary. Like, but one of the coaches, and I'm gonna have to say this, one of the South Shore coaches is one of my coaches, my man Winston. So I have to give this guy a lot of credit. What he's done for our program. He's one of the assistant coaches, but he runs my middle school program for my coaches, and he is amazing teaching these kids, man. And I have to give him a lot of credit. He makes my job a lot easier. He's doing a phenomenal job with these middle school kids, man, and getting a lot of these kids in high schools and being prepared to be able to play in high schools. And we work with a lot of the middle school principals and stuff like that. So if they're acting up, they can't play in our league. So we're in touch with the schools, we're in touch with teachers, and we treat that like it's almost like a real middle school league as far as PSAL. Because if you're not doing well in school, you can't play. They have to go to mentorship before the game. Every game before each game, they have to talk to mentors. We have a class. You play first. You play after your game. You have to go to the class. We do that to all our kids.
Listen. If you've been watching the shows, I've been stressing that a lot. I think that needs to be followed over in high school, because a lot of our kids, our boys, they're lacking male mentorship, right? A male role model. And a lot of times they get that good structure early on, and then they get let out into the world and they get pushed off the edge and go fly by yourself. And these kids are still kids. I know they're in high school and they're teenagers, right? But they're still kids. And one of the examples I use when I talk to my kids is a scene from Bronx Tale. You ever seen Bronx Tale?
100 times.
Remember the scene when the white guys was getting in the car to go
yes.
avenge and go to the black neighborhoods and get the black guys?
Yeah.
Now Sonny, who saw the kid who he liked in the car, because look, he kept it real. And he's a street dude. I'm going to save the one I can save.
Right.
The kid didn't want to go.
Right.
But he didn't have enough guts to say he didn't want to go because he didn't want to look like a chump in front of his peers.
Right.
So it took Sonny, an adult, to come snatch him out that situation.
Right.
And what happens, right, to the kids? The end result is that
they all burned on fire. They got blown the heck up.
They all died.
They all died. Every one of them.
So that's one of the main parts of that movie that sticks out to me the most, because our young people need a lot of help.
That's why I like working with the middle school kids, because I look at it, those are my pups. You know what I mean? And I'm preparing them for high school. I used to do high school. I did a lot of pro-am for years, unlimited. I said, you know what? If I'm giving my money away, if I'm giving my time, taking my time away from my family, I'm doing it with the kids. And that's why I went down to middle school. And it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. To watch these young dudes grow, man, and develop, and to, like I said, we take them on trips. We've taken them to the NBA Hall of Fame. Someplace I've never been. That was the first time I went. We took them last winter. It was a great, great opportunity. And like I said, we have different mentorships. Before they play, they have to go to class before they play, or after their game. Different organizations that come and speak about life. We're doing job training we do have a high school program as well, where it's involved with the police department, and they help us out tremendously. So yeah, the police help us out tremendously in that Van Dyke program. So I want to give them a shout out as well. You know, so
No doubt. Salute the
well,
positive officers out there
oh
making a
man,
difference.
oh they're great. My son's an officer, so you know, they do a lot. They do a lot of work. You know, so it's all good, man. It's all good.
Yeah, I think that idea, what you have in that structure, is a perfect situation that can help turn New York City basketball around, starting in Brooklyn, where we can maybe invite some of the high school coaches down to the program to see how it's ran, right? And a lot of coaches can now start adapting it to their programs. But I know a lot of them gonna be like, it's a lot of work because we already got worried about study hall and how we gonna put mentoring in, and we ain't gonna be able to compete. But really, you're preparing these kids for a little bit more than basketball, right? I had Eric Hicks on last week, and here's a guy. He wasn't a big star player, someone similar to yourself, and found himself at a college and got an opportunity. But he knew that his future in basketball was far in between. So he had to prepare for when the game was over. And that's how he created his organization. And what you're doing, I think what you're doing is such an incredible job, because I think all high school programs should be ran like the program you're running in Van Dyke.
Let me tell you, and we do have high school coaches do come down. We've had Canarsie coach come down. Rob Phelps has come down. We had I'm trying to get my man Bud to come down. We talk all the time. You know, I've been trying because I have some players. I said, Bud, I'm telling you, I got some guards that you're gonna love, tougher than nails, man. And they're like South, or like in the 7th grade. And these kids, we have them playing when we play in the BRC. We have them playing with high school kids, and they balling. You know, so they started to come and see us and see what we're doing and what we're producing, and you know, find character gentlemen that we have that we're producing. You know, changing their whole demeanor on how they look at life, and we're just helping them and just being consistent, being in their life. It's all about consistency. You know, when you're consistent in someone's life, they know you're not going anywhere. You know, you're going to be there. You know, you're not running off. You know, they've had people run off in their life before. No, Coach Martin's going to be there every other day, every day. You know what I'm saying? And that's like I said, if I'm going to give my money to somebody, I'm going to give it to a kid, you know, that I know really need me and really needs my assistance. You know, and that's, I mean, like I said, we have free stuff. We don't charge a kid a dime. And we give them the best stuff, man. When I tell you the full uniforms, reversible uniforms, you can ask them. Ask the guys from BRC. We had Coach Green playing our league. You know, we took care of him, helped pay for different tournaments for him, you know, through our organization, through our Sports Zone organization. And that's what we've done for many organizations. You know, bought T-shirts for
you. We're going to have Coach Green on. Coach Green will be on soon as well. That's my best friend's father.
Well, your best. Tell me he owes me an apology, too. I love him, but he owes me an apology. We ain't going to talk about it tonight.
Coach Green?
Coach Green's owed me a big apology. You tell him, but I love him, but he owes me an apology. And we're going to leave it at that.
I got you.
Okay?
All right. Definitely.
Other than that, man, like I said, those kids, like I said, our program is growing and growing every year. We have some of the best officials that officiate our kids. Like I said, the Pro-Am, Terry Gilbert's guys from Pro-Am, those officials, we're going to have his guy one day come up by, Zach Zarba, who's one of the top officials in the NBA. He's going to come talk to our kids. I got a guy, this brother's doing Nike kicks. He's going to come and teach the kids how to draw on sneakers. You know, so we got a lot of stuff coming up, you know, for our kids, man. And just, you know, giving them that avenue and allowing them to have a platform like you one day and to give back. So what you're doing is amazing, you know, to get the word out, you know, and let people hear, you know. So that's great, man. It's a great job what you're doing, man. You know, I've been watching you several times with different guys that I know. And, you know, I enjoy watching. I tune in. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate the love. And, you know, Rob and I have been friends for a very long time. You know, I watch him come up, and listen, his word is golden to me. And if he tells me, yo, G, you need to interview this person, I'm on it, because I know what kind of person he is and what he represents. So it's that it works, brother. And now I get to read up on you and, you know, look up some of the things you did, and it's just amazing, man. It's amazing. What kind of relationship did you and Pearl have?
We're like brothers, man. I introduced Pearl to his fiance before he passed away. years ago. Me and Pearl were like brothers, man. I mean, you know, in his latter years, last 15 years of his life, we just, you know, just bonded, man. I mean, we just mad cool, man. You know, we just mad
Give
cool.
me your fondest memory of Pearl in the summer tournament that you witnessed.
I remember Pearl as a kid. I'm gonna tell you, as a kid in the tournament at Betsy Head Pool. I don't know if you ever played in Betsy Head Pool. Betsy Head Pool had in the
Yeah.
locker rooms in the wintertime.
I swam in Bessie A pool when I was a
In the
kid.
wintertime, the locker rooms is a basketball court, and this was Pearl was a kid.
Yeah.
I seen Pearl play, and Pearl just destroyed everybody in this whole tournament. There's a tournament. He just destroyed everybody. He's like, I couldn't believe, like, who the hell is this guy? You know what I'm saying? It was just unreal. It was just unreal, man. I couldn't believe him. Just you know, it's just so many. Just
How old was he? How old was he?
probably about 11. Probably about 11. Just destroying people like nothing. You know, just head over heels, better than everybody. You know, you knew he was going to be special.
Right.
You know, you knew he was going to be special. Like I said, everybody in the gym was decent, but he was just very special, man. He was just special, man. Yeah.
Yeah, he was bigger than most guards and could move like he was their size.
I'm gonna tell you another tournament I played in. One time in the projects, Pearl, I think he was senior year in high school or something. It was inside the Brownsville projects, and he was going against, and I was on the same team as Cosell, right? One of my boys was coaching his team, and Pearl was playing on the other team. But I can say Cosell gave him the business that night. Cosell was a bad boy, and he'd tell you what he's gonna do to you. Him and Beetle, I think, in my eyes, one of the best backcourts of all times in New York City.
Listen, I saw Beetle play for the first time on YouTube. We was watching it again last night. I was showing my boys. And he was dynamic. He was all over the court. He was one of those guards that I knew everyone was talking about, but I never saw him play. Like, I used to just hear his name.
Bro,
you know, word of mouth was everything back in the day.
pure point guard, man. Pure ran a team. That was
Yes.
one of the best backcourts in my eyes in the city of all times that I've seen. I've seen a lot of different backcourts, but that him and Cosell had to be one of the best.
Cosell was number 2 behind Isaiah, I heard.
I don't know what he was behind, but I know what he can handle. He can handle anybody.
Coach Haskins said it. Coach Haskins said he was the number 2 point guard in the country behind Isaiah.
That team Coach Haskins had, man. You know, the front line he had. It was like a pro team. He had like a pro team. All those guys, I mean, it was horses. There's nobody could beat them guys.
But then they lost to Zavarian in the state championship with Chris Mullen and Roger McCree.
Well,
how dope is that, though?
Well, you know what? Losing to Chris Mullen ain't bad.
Right. That's and Roger McCree, right? Right?
That ain't bad losing to Chris Mullen, a Hall of Famer.
That's right.
You're gonna lose.
That's right.
And that's why I didn't feel bad losing to Alexander Hamilton and boys and girls because those teams were awesome. So you lose to them, I mean, everybody else is going to lose, and nobody's going to beat those guys. Those teams were stacked and well coached.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a difference. Okay, you got talent, but they were well coached. You know, so I mean, but even going back to the history, I haven't heard nobody talk about the Albert King days in New York City. When Albert King was in New York City, was one of the most phenomenal players I've ever seen. When you talk about Pearl having his impact, you couldn't even get in the gym when Albert King played.
I heard he was the head of Magic Johnson.
Albert King was no joke, brother. I haven't heard nobody talk about Albert King. And, you know, he was skipping over these guys and talk about all these new wave guys. But those guys, I mean, the Vinnie Johnsons, they ain't talking about Vinnie Johnson, man. I haven't heard nobody talk about Vinnie Johnson in any of these podcasts or whatever, man. Those guys, man, you couldn't shout those guys.
I'm trying to look, brother. I'm trying to get to those. Trust me. Those guys. I played with Eric. I played with his younger brother, Eric.
Brothers would be.
Eric. Right? I played with his younger brother. I played with we was all on the Empire State Games team. Myself, Eric Brown, Derek Chivas, Ross Strickland, Boo Harvey, right? And I was the young buck of the team.
Right.
So those guys, trust me, we're definitely getting to them.
Get a hold of the microwave.
And you're right. No one has mentioned them in stories, right? No one has mentioned the stories. You probably are someone who probably, and Ray Haskins probably go back the furthest out of
Yeah, because
everybody I interviewed.
we're like, you know, we're older school guys. We like we see all the errors. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And
right,
that's why I always pick Coach
right,
Haskins' mind, because I want to know, he knows. If anybody knows, or
right.
whoever you're talking to, Coach Haskins knows. He's the
He
godfather.
said the first Rucker game was played in Kingston Park.
Probably. I remember my dad used to take me to Rucker. My dad was from Harlem. He used to take me to the Rucker when I was a kid. And man, like they said, it was up in the trees. I used to watch Joe Hamlin and them play. I was a little boy.
Right.
You know, helicopter.
Yeah, my boy trying to get me Joe Hammond as we speak.
Wow, yeah, I used to watch him as a little boy, man. You know, my dad used to take me up there. I remember I seen Kareem in New York at Gershwin, walking through Gershwin Park one time
Wow.
in East New York. Yeah, it was crazy, man. I'm telling you. So, you know, they talk about these guys. We talk about guys that played in the league 15, 20 years, not 1 year. The Vinnie Johnsons and them, man. You know what I'm saying? Those guys, Albert King. You know what I mean? Those guys, man, are legends. High school, college, and pros.
If someone got a contact for Albert King, please DM me.
Bro, that would be. I'm in tune. Albert King
Listen,
is the
I
man.
remember being in Fairleigh Dickinson and used to go to the Burger King in Inglewood just to see if we have a chance to see an Albert King, and he would be behind their circle.
But he owns a couple of them, doesn't he?
Yeah, and this is during his net days.
Yeah. Albert King was the man, bro. I remember.
All right, I got R.R. Finney said partnerships are very important and need to help programs to be successful.
That is so true. That's why I say to you, that's what my partner Dwayne Cannon stressed all the time about partnerships, and I think that's why our program is so successful. We're able to bring so many different organizations to our kids through partnership. So yes, and that's why I said a lot of these different tournaments need to start partnering up together. Where like with us in the BRC, when they have their tournament, we wait. So when they finish, we go, because the kids will conflict, and you have a lot of forfeits. So then you give the kids a chance to play in every tournament. So I think these tournaments
Now
they
listen,
stop competing against each other like that.
that will be a great idea. That will be a great idea. And you know, you can let the Nike tournament be the Nike tournament, but all the other community tournaments should all come together and have, and then you can come together at the end and have the best of the tournaments.
That's
right?
That's how we do with the BRC.
And you can extend it.
We never have a tournament at the same time they have one. We always wait and wait for each other to finish up, and then we go right, so the kids can have a chance to play in both of them. That's what we do.
Got my man Eric Hicks is on right now. He run Game Over. They be having tournaments as well. That'll be a great idea for you guys.
Yeah,
you know,
not a problem.
Best Style Brownsville.
I want to buy some, trophies from Eric Hickson. Eric got them Game
There you
Over
go.
trophies, man. I've been trying to holler at him for a minute, man. He got the best trophies on
Yo,
the planet.
we just made the connection, E. Let's make it happen, baby.
Statues, man. I want some statue trophies, man.
That's right. Let the black kids get some black men trophies.
Them trophies are awesome, man. I love those trophies, man. It's hard to get though, man. So I need you to plug me with Eric. I know Robbie trying to plug me with him, but I need those.
Definitely.
Trophies.
There you go. Listen, E just said I love it. We're gonna make it happen.
Yes, sir.
He said he got you. He got you.
Okay.
Yes. Look, that's what this platform is about. Bringing people together, right? Having everybody work together and build partnerships.
Partnership, baby. That's the key word for the day. Partnership. You know what I mean? Everybody else.
And trust me, I will be down there at you guys' basketball tournaments and basketball camps. I will be broadcasting. I will be promoting everything that you guys do. So don't worry about that.
Rob Phelps did a camp for me 2 years ago at Bristol Park. We had over 150 kids. Rob did a clinic for me. It was run by our organization and sanitation. Awesome. Rob put on a hell of a show that day. A hell of a show.
I just posted him working some kids out. You know, whatever Rob does, I'm gonna promote it regardless. But you know, it's so refreshing to see the kids being excited to get a chance to play again.
Yes.
Because the kids is itching. If it's one time we're going to have the attention of these kids, it's right now.
Yes. Yes.
We're going to have these kids' attention at 150% right now. So while we have their attention right now, grab it and let's mold it and let's shape it for the right, for the right causes.
I used to be Rob's guinea pig when Rob was going to Providence. I used to have to feed him the ball every time while he was doing his shooting drills. He used to take me to Nazareth High School, and he'd say, "Come on, Pete," and I would have to, catch him, retrieve the ball, and pass it to him. So he owes me big time because I helped him with that.
Hey, look.
I helped him with that.
That's right.
That was my man.
And that jump shot is still water.
Still pure. Still pure.
So my man Eric Hicks said, "The time is now. We must come together and stick together."
That's facts. That's facts, baby. So, like I said, today's key word is partnership, man. So you talk to all your guys, man. Tell them to start partnering up, man, to make it even bigger. And we all join forces.
That's what we want my message I push. Definitely.
We all join forces together, man, and we can't be stopped.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
We can't be stopped. And our kids are getting the best. And that's what we preach at our program, Brother Ken and I. We want our kids to have the best opportunity to succeed in this world. You know what I mean? And have a chance to be able to go out on a date and be able to take a nice young lady out on a date and be respectful. All those things we teach as well. So it's all good, man. It's all good.
Listen, you have a great cause, great mission, and you're definitely living out the cause the right way. All right? Before we leave, got two things I want to ask.
Yes, sir.
One is, who is the best high school player you saw, which I probably know is going to be Pearl, college player and pro player you've seen in New York City?
The best high school player I saw, no, it's not going to be Pearl. It's going to be Eric Marbury. Eric Marbury was the best high school player I saw. Eric Marbury.
That's the first. Everybody hear that? That's the first Lincoln in the house. I went to Lincoln, fam. Yes.
Eric Marbury was the best high school player I've ever saw. He was phenomenal.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, he was. I mean, you had to see him play. A lot of those guys didn't see him play. He was Steph before Steph. Steph just took it to a whole nother level. But Eric Marbury.
Steph had the J. Yeah. Steph had, out of all of them, Steph had the J.
Right. But Steph had the J and he could jump. Eric was a jumper.
Right.
I mean, and it was just incredible the way that man jumped out the gym, man. Eric Marbury was the best player I saw in high school that I actually played against in high school.
Wow.
Eric Marbury. Yeah, I have to give that brother his props.
Real Pete Moore said facts. Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right. Salute to the Marburys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What about college?
The best college player I ever saw, I would say Kenyon Martin.
Kenyon Martin?
Kenyon Martin was the best college player in my eyes. I watched Kenyon Martin block a shot, then go down and dunk it, all in the same play. Kenyon Martin was a phenomenal college player in my eyes. Yeah. I like Kenyon Martin was the best that I liked in college basketball. That's my favorite college basketball player, Kenyon Martin. Not that he had my last name, but Kenyon Martin. If you ever saw Kenyon Martin playing college, man, he was no joke.
Yeah, for sure.
He was no joke, man. He was no joke. He was no joke. Yeah. He was the number one pick in the draft that year.
And this new kid reminds me of him now. The new kid that's coming out of Dayton reminds me of him.
Wow, I haven't had a chance to see him. But Kenyon Martin,
I forgot his name. If anybody knew his name, the kid from Dayton that's coming out this year, he reminds me a lot of Kenyon Martin.
And Kenyon Martin got drafted number one with a broken leg.
Yes.
So you know how bad he was.
Right.
With a broken leg. Yeah. So.
Best pro.
Magic Johnson. I idolize Magic Johnson. He's on my bucket list. I want to hang out with him one day. Magic Johnson's my man. Couldn't tell me I wasn't Magic Johnson coming up as a kid, bro. Magic Johnson.
And you got the New York bragging rights. You can say, yo, you was my man, but Albert from Brooklyn was ahead of you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but Magic, and let me tell you something. World Be Free put it on Magic his first game. Clippers played the Lakers, and World was playing with the Clippers. World had like 45, almost 50 on the Lakers.
Wow.
Yeah, World killed them.
World was a walking bucket, yo.
Led the league in scoring.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. I got to give a lot of shout out to World because when we go to the Sixer games, World take care of us, man. We want for nothing. Still to this day, he takes care of his Brownsville guys. Still to this
How
day.
can I get World on the show? That's going to be my next question.
I can
right?
make
When
that
I come on
happen.
the show, you got to nominate somebody else to be on the show.
Right. I'll talk to one of my partners, my man Daryl Glenn, who runs the BRC. And if anybody can do it, Daryl Glenn can do it.
Okay.
Daryl's the man. Daryl runs Brownsville.
Gotcha.
Yes. I would try to make that happen. I would try to make that happen. That's how we got to do it.
I would really appreciate that, brother.
I would definitely try my best. As soon as we hang up, I'm going to talk to Daryl, and I'm going to tell Daryl, you got to get World on my man's show. Absolutely.
That works, man.
Yes, sir.
That works.
Yes, sir.
Well, look, man, I'm glad that you came on and you shared the story, man. Now I know a little bit more and everybody else. And as we play this over and over and people, figure out what's going on, we bring some people together and they can see the face behind the program.
Right.
And then they can meet your partner as well.
Yeah, they need to meet my partner. He's a tremendous brother, Dwayne Kennan. But I also want you to know that, our programs are free. And, we don't charge our kids a dime. And we give them the best of the best. The best teaching, the best, uniforms and just education, which is the most important thing. So for people to say there's no free tournaments, yes, there are. Right there in the heart of Brownsville. Yes, sir. It costs nothing.
Well, listen, I'm going to definitely take that clip out and just leave it just like that and also play some more of this interview. But I want to definitely promote what you're doing, my brother. I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. And whenever you need me, whenever you need to, make a broadcast or announcement, just call me up, man. And we can make it happen.
I appreciate you more. I appreciate Rob for plugging me in with you. All those who are listening today, and we're willing to partner up and help out each other, and help their kids out if need be, help their programs out. That's what we do. We help programs. We help struggling programs.
Right.
We've helped out so many struggling programs through our Brownsville Sports Zone group. That's what we do. Help out struggling programs, man. So just hit me up too. I'm here for you as well.
I appreciate you, brother.
All the best, man.
All right, man.
And happy Father's Day.
My man, Pat Foss. I got you, Pat. We're going to holler.
Have a happy Father's Day to your father, man. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
I'm not a father, but I still appreciate the love because I got a lot of kids out there, man.
Yes, sir. Okay. Good luck. Have a good night.
All right. Mr. Peter Martin, Coach Peter Martin, show some love, people.